everybody. So I'm just waiting for an appointment, but I just wanted to jump on here really quickly and just say that I've had a lot of messages lately and people are really struggling with their kind of lymph node fears, and if anybody kind of knows my story, you'll know that that's kind of like where mine started. And I just kind of wanted to come on here quickly and just say that we fear our lymph nodes terribly. At the end of the day, I think we grow up and we're told that lumps are bad and that they're scary, and of course in some circumstances they can be. But the problem is with lymph nodes, and why we worry so much, is because they're these little small lumps that we find, and often when we find them we're not sure how long they've been there. And I think the internet, when it comes to lymph nodes, is very misleading and confusing and can really put people in a bit of a panic. So I just wanted to come on here and just say that I completely understand what you're going through if you're worried about your lymph nodes. I was 1000% convinced that I had lymphoma for, I would say, a year in total, but mostly for 6 months. And everything that I was reading online, I was just dismissing the logical information. I was just taking in the bad. And I think, as humans, there's been loads of studies to show that actually 80% of our thoughts are negative. We retain negative information by far easier than we retain positive. So when we're Googling things and, we're reading all of this different information, we may have read 10 things that prove us wrong, but we read one tiny thing that we could kind of hold on to, and then we're absolutely convinced, and that's what makes health anxiety so difficult to deal with. But when it comes to lymph nodes, a lot of people message me and they'll say they've found a lump, or they've found what they think is a lymph node. And I just kind of want to reiterate, because this is something I wish somebody had told me back then, is that if you find a lump that is like a pea-sized or bean-sized, that is completely normal. Even if you didn't notice it before, anything that is up to about 1.5 centimeters in diameter is typically normal. Certain area of the body, they can be slightly bigger, and for example in your groin sometimes they can be a little bit bigger. But in general, pea-sized, bean-sized, it's just a normal lymph node. That's the size of them. They're all over our body. There are hundreds, but we can feel them in our neck, our groin, and our armpit. And I've got one behind my left ear here that's about the size of a pea. That's been there for years. I've got the big one in my groin. That's been there for years now. I've got a couple in my neck, and they're normal. They're just normal little lymph nodes. The lymph nodes that you want to really actually worry about is the ones that are growing, usually quite rapidly. So some people who actually do have lymphoma, their lymph node will grow to the size of an egg in like a month, because certain types of lymphoma can be very, very aggressive. The other instance where you want to get checked out is if it does swell up, say it swells up to the size of a grape and it doesn't come back down. So in those kind of circumstances, they really warrant going to a doctor and getting them seen. But most doctors, if you approach them with a pea-sized or bean-sized lymph node, and I think this is what used to annoy me, is they're very dismissive. And I was like, out of my mind at this point, and I was like, no, I need to have all of these tests done. But they're dismissive because they know that is a normal, healthy little lymph node. And again, when it comes to reading about the characteristics online about lymph nodes, it'll say that you should worry if they feel hard or rubbery, and that drove me crazy because mine felt hard and rubbery. And if they're immobile, and mine, the one in my groin just doesn't really move because I don't really feel like it has anywhere to move. And yeah, I think it's just, you end up in this awful place, and it's just not fun for anybody. So I just wanted to do this quick video and just say I completely I completely empathise with you and I get it. And honestly, sometimes I read these messages and I cry because I really do know how you feel. And like my lymph node in my groin at the moment is a little bit swollen, and I had one under my armpit that was a bit swollen, but I know that, I had a flu jab a couple of weeks ago, and I know that, your lymph nodes can swell sometimes. So I'm at a place now where I'm kind of at peace with my lymph nodes, and I hope that you guys can get to that same kind of place eventually. Just to make you aware as well, I have a Facebook group called Health Anxiety Community, and we all chat on there. So if you ever, want to, it's a small group, there's less than 150 of us. So if you ever want, like a safe place to speak, for with like-minded individuals, then please find us on there, and we will support you, and we all help each other, which is really, really lovely. And I will see you guys on my next video.